We've ended Biden's inflation nightmare. So we had the worst inflation in the history of our country. And now our inflation is down to a perfect number, a beautiful number, hardly any at all. And yet our country's taking in tens of billions of dollars and trillions of dollars, actually trillions of dollars in tariffs. And you know all about it. It's been amazing. They say, why are we taking in so much money? Last week they found $29 billion and they couldn't figure out where it came from. I said, check the tariff shelf. And they said, how did you know that's where it came from? We're taking in billions and even trillions of dollars in tariffs paid by other countries.
I cannot stress enough how every bit of what he just said, that doddering old fool, was either a lie or definitely didn't happen. Nobody came to him and said, we got all these billions, we don't know where they're from. And he said, check the tariffs. They're like, oh, that's where they're from. That's not how that happened at all. And to the extent that the tariffs are being paid, they're being paid by the importers of the products. And then that, of course, is at least 75% of it is being passed on to consumers. So all of that is untrue, but what's the point of even fact checking it? Everybody who is physically capable of understanding how this works already does, and everybody else prefers a convenient lie to the actual truth. But the biggest lie there is inflation used to be really high, but now it's down to a perfect number. That's not true remotely. And why is Trump coming out and saying that in this little press conference? Because the Bureau of Labor Statistics just released their producer price index report that showed much higher inflation than expected. And soak in this BLS report, because there's probably not going to be any more coming anytime soon. But for now, we do know that wholesale inflation rose 0.9% in July from just the prior month. That is almost 5 times what economists expected it to be. It's also the largest increase in more than 3 years, taking us back to the actual pandemic. That's the perfect number that he's talking about right there. Worse than the vast majority of the entire Biden administration's inflation numbers. He's now saying that that's actually amazing. And so that's the price that wholesalers are paying, which means that soon it's going to be passed on to you, and you will likely be paying more for a variety of different products. Now, you already are. This just signals higher price increases to come. Already, consumer prices rose 0.2% back in July, keeping the annual inflation rate at 2.7%. Higher food prices were the biggest culprit, 0.7% increase right there. Raw agricultural products jumped nearly 13%. Fresh and dry vegetables saw a nearly 40% monthly price surge, which is the largest since March 2022. Again, that classic 3-year thing that he's bragging so much about. Beef is at a literal all-time high. But honestly, with these big jumps in fresh and dry vegetables, I think that I'm gonna have to take my money out of the stock market and start stocking up on lettuce and celery and stuff, because that seems like a real growth area for our economy. Now, this is all bad regardless of what that old fool says. Let's jump now to CNBC to tell it like it sort of is.
Headline number is whoppingly big. Oh my goodness, up 0.9%, up 0.9. And if you strip out food and energy, guess what? It's still up 0.9. Boy, that equals June of 22. You're to March of 22 on the headline to find a bigger number. On the core number, that would comp to March of 22, since we've had a number of that magnitude when it was 1.2%. These are kind of COVID distorted numbers.
Yeah, so that doesn't sound good. Isn't that the Tea Party guy? He doesn't seem happy to have gotten what I think he asked for. But anyway, yeah, no, the numbers are bad. No matter how you slice them, they're bad. CNBC doesn't like this. Of course, they also were predicting it with the tariffs and everything. So let's jump over to Fox Business and see if maybe their interpretation is a little bit more positive for the president.
Wholesale inflation, so much higher than expected, Adam. What is this?
Not what we wanted to see, not what anyone wanted to see, but I think this is tariffs. And we're finally seeing tariffs percolate through the data. What's curious in particular is that the trade component, the line item where it just says trade, and that's about 1/5 of the CPI calculation, up 2%. So lest there be any doubts about where this is coming from, there it is.
Yeah.
And all of them are obviously completely shocked, Brett, because we had all been led to believe that it was the foreign countries that would be paying those higher tariffs. So none of this is good. What do you make of it?
So all of the things Trump does, economically, they have negative effects on things people typically would expect a president wouldn't want to have negative effects on. So like tariffs only ever raise the prices of stuff. Period. They like it. The high prices are supposed to incentivize companies to repatriate their employment, but that is only to make it as expensive there as it is to build stuff here. Now, I am for bringing jobs back when it's done correctly and when it's done by a person who understands like international economics. There's a way to lessen the blow of that, but like it's insane to think that anybody would be shocked by the tariffing president in chief triggering a rise in inflation, which is whether prices, the rate at which prices are increasing. This is the rate at which prices are increasing is this one. So obviously that's it. And then add to that, he's also increasing the cost of labor at home, right? So agnostic of his international movements, he is getting rid and scaring the hell out of the kind of person who would work in, for example, when we talk about food, the agricultural industry, he's scaring the hell out of farm workers. He is reducing the labor supply in that respect. And when you reduce the supply of labor, you increase the price of it. And as a result, prices are going up. It would be going up even if he wasn't tariffing the hell out of everybody. Like that, it is. All of his, and then not to mention, I mean, he wants to lower interest rates, but the move to raise interest rates to lower inflation does so by creating more unemployment. Like it is not, there's no easy thing here. It's the price of America being awesome and rich, but then having a president come in who's like, I want to make these changes, but he doesn't really understand how or why they would happen. He just likes the idea of tariffing.
Yeah, I think you totally appropriately pointed out how the effect on food prices was not just predictable, it was predicted. We knew that the combination of the tariffs with his immigration policy would have this effect, and why, after getting elected on price concerns and anger over inflation, you would immediately start to double down on that. Seems crazy. But we also expect to see this in construction as well. Not only tariffs on like all the lumber that we get from Canada, but also disruptions to the ability to actually like build new houses. And that's another area that people were already very angry about. And so I don't see how this could possibly be good for him. If you enjoyed that, make sure that you never miss another video by subscribing. And if you want a little more, consider hitting the join button and becoming an actual member. But you're probably wondering, why the hell would I do that, John? First off, calm down. The stakes in this are very, very low. But also, when you click the join button and you become a member, you get access to bonus content that I make every week, and it's a ton of fun. You get access to tons of custom emojis and more besides that. By the way, if you join at tier 3, you even get access to a monthly member hangout with myself and other awesome people, and we always have a great time. By the way, you'll get all that going forward, but you also unlock years of the back catalog. That is literally 100 or more bonus clips, top 10 lists, debates, and more. What are you waiting for? Click the join button below. Your support powers our show, and we couldn't do it without you. Or at the very least, I wouldn't really want to try. Viewers like you keep me here. So thank you in advance for joining.